So welcome to the what we are calling as the Q&A session for the Bhagavad Gita class. Before we get started, since Bhagavad Gita is a very deeply spiritual topic, we want to recite some prayers so that we can get the blessings of the acharyas and previous gurus uh, to help us understand these topics nicely. So this is the website that I am showing over here. It's called, I'm looking at this side because I have a screen on this side. If I'm, and that's where I'm pointing to. And this is the website where all the material that we will be discussing, all the books that we will be going through are present on this website. It's called vedabase.io. So if you go to this website, you will see Bhagavad Gita as it is, as the first book. There are many other books like Srimad Bhagavatam and other books. We will just go into Bhagavad Gita for now.
The screen is not visible.
Oh. Again, something has happened with screen sharing. Okay, now you can see. Okay, so I was talking about this vedabase.io website. It has the online version of Bhagavad Gita. So you go to vedabase.io. This is a link that you should remember or bookmark. And within that, there's this first book is Bhagavad Gita. We will go there. And then inside the Bhagavad Gita, once we are in, there's the chapter called Introduction. We will go to the chapter Introduction. And there are some prayers here in italics, which is what we will recite. If you have a paper copy of the Bhagavad Gita, which looks like this, most likely, yes, I can see one of you holding it, then
और 6 मार्च तो 2 साल कितना नहीं.
Then the same Bhagavad Gita is the, so please mute yourselves. 1 second. I'm not able to mute anyone either.
45.
What's going on? Okay, something's going on with my Zoom. So we'll try. You can still hear me? I was not able to mute others who were talking. Because I'm the host, I can usually mute anyone I want, but I was not able to do that. So anyway, so this is going to be a little disturbing. I'll try to fix these problems next time. So in this Bhagavad Gita, also there's the introduction chapter, and the prayers that we will recite will be the same. So this entire, in this online, and I hope you're still seeing the screen, the entire online version of the Bhagavad Gita is present on this website. So we will start with these prayers. And before we start with these prayers in italics, we will recite 2 more verses or 2 more shlokas towards our Acharya, which is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. I will explain some of those details as we go. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, so let me share with you what we are going to do today. So first of all, this is an additional Q&A session hour or a Q&A hour. And how many of you were present in the main class yesterday? So we had the main class, and you can use the Zoom feature. Hopefully it still works. To share how many of you were present in the class yesterday. Just either raise your hand or something like that. I'll give you a few seconds to do that, to figure it out. And in the meantime, yeah, if you can also turn on your video. So if possible, not mandatory, but it's nice to have a personal interaction to kind of at least see who I'm talking to, and find a nice and quiet place to spend this hour discussing about topics from Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so about half, or some of you were there yesterday. So I'm going to lower all the hands. So that's perfectly okay. This session is supposed to be an additional Q&A hour session. Now, the expectation going forward will be that if this is the time that you can make it, but not the main hour, which happened about 14 or 15 hours ago, depending on where you are in the time zone. If you are in the United States, it would map to Friday evening. But if you are in India, for example, it would map to Saturday morning. And right now it will be Saturday evening or Saturday night in India. So depending on where you are, the main session happened and the recording has been uploaded to YouTube. So in YouTube, I'm going to post in the chat the link to the YouTube, and it is over here. And you are welcome to go and subscribe to the YouTube so that you can easily find it later. But here is, I have posted, oops, sorry, I need to post it to everyone. This is the link to the YouTube. I can also show it on the screen. Are we seeing the screen now? Yeah. So, okay, I'll open it as if it is you. So I'll go into the sort of a fresh window. I'll go to youtube.com. And then if you search for Param Karuna Das, P-A-R-A-M-A space K-A-R-U-N-A space D-A-S. So if you search for that, you will find me there. This is the YouTube sort of the channel or whatever. It has a little lotus or a flower, pink flower logo. And there, if you go to playlists, you will find the Bhagavad Gita course 2021 and yesterday's session. So you can go here and you can see all the sessions that we will keep uploading. So like this, you can keep watching the videos that we upload for the session that happened. And in this class that we will hold on Saturday mornings, according to US time, is mainly for question answers. So because question answers form a very integral part of understanding Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita can rarely or very seldom be understood just by reading. yes, a lot of information can be gathered, but this whole 6-month course that we have organized is mainly applicative in nature. So we request you to understand what is being discussed. There will be things we will request you to do in your life. Some changes that you will implement in your life, not externally. Many of the changes will be internal, in our consciousness, in our attitude, in our outlook to life, in the way we see things, in the way we see or think in our relationships. And some of it may manifest externally as well, absolutely. So, and then people usually face some roadblocks. And we want you to come and discuss what happened after you tried to apply the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, or even in the understanding of Bhagavad Gita. If you have questions, this is a very good way to clarify the doubts and ask questions. If you see, the Bhagavad Gita itself is a question answer session. Lord Krishna spoke initially the second chapter. In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we have not yet gone into the first or second chapter yet. We just did an orientation session yesterday. But Arjun starts with presenting his arguments or telling Lord Krishna that I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight my cousins. I don't want to fight with my uncles, with my grandfather Bhishma, with my teacher Dronacharya. I don't want to fight with all these people whom I love and respect. And then he says, I am not going to fight. Then Lord Krishna asks him at the beginning of second chapter, why? What happened? You have been preparing for this war for so many years. And now at the time when the war is in front of you, you are backing out. And then Lord speaks Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. At the beginning of third chapter, Arjun asks a question. If Arjun did not ask that question in the beginning of the third chapter, probably, again, I'm nobody to guess, but probably the Bhagavad Gita might have ended there. Arjun asks a question at the beginning of third chapter. Then later on in the third chapter, again, he asks a question. In the fifth chapter, he again asks a question. In sixth chapter, he asks another few questions. Eighth chapter, he asks more questions. So the whole Bhagavad Gita is basically a conversation between Arjun and Lord Krishna, with Arjun asking many, many questions and Krishna answering those. And that is how Lord Krishna presented the Bhagavad Gita to all of us, to humanity. So in this way, question answers are an integral part of what we learn, of what we understand, what we internalize. And since this course is, yesterday in the main session, we said it's like a university course. It's like a semester-long course on Bhagavad Gita. However, it is little different from a university course. This is something I did not, or I forgot to mention yesterday. In university courses or courses that we do in our life, we learn and we forget. I am a graduate of electrical engineering from IIT Roorkee, and 99%, I would even say 100% of what I learned in engineering, I have forgotten now. And I don't even use it in my job or in my career. So what I am doing is, not using all those concepts. So it is not that kind of class that you learn and forget. This is highly applicative. We must apply it in our lives. And when we start applying, then we will never forget. Then it becomes second nature to us. So, and a lot of it comes through questions and answers. So yesterday, we had gone through many concepts. Today, obviously, you might not have had a chance to look at the video. Some of you have, some of you may not have. But I will cover in very, very brief, just sort of like a table of contents, a list of things that we covered yesterday. I request you to go and look at what we covered yesterday through the video. And then next week onwards, we can have more Q&A. Today also, we can have general question answers about Bhagavad Gita itself, or anything that you have on your mind, or anything about how this course will progress, what are going to be the contents of the course, what are going to be the objectives of the course, etc., etc. We can talk about a lot of things today. So having said that, I just wanted to share with you a quick, very quick summary of what we covered yesterday. So we covered about what is the Bhagavad Gita, One of the topics we covered is Bhagavad Gita is the manual for human life. Human body is a very complex machine. For any complex machine, you need a manual. So human body is also a very complex machine. Most of the machines you can learn to use in one day or maybe 1 month at most, if it is a very complicated machine. But human body, we cannot even understand many times over a period of years. In our relationships between husband and wife, I was mentioning yesterday, they have been living, let's say, for 20 years. And still the husband thinks, I don't really understand my wife. Or the wife thinks, I don't fully understand my husband, what he thinks, what he behaved, why did he behave this way yesterday? I thought he was like this, but he suddenly just, I saw a different person in my husband. So human bodies are very complex machines. And when I say human body, it doesn't just mean the cells and the blood and the bones and muscles. It also means the mind, the intelligence, the ahankar or ego inside the body. All those are part of the body. And they are very, very hard to understand. Bhagavad Gita gives us a very, very nice way, a very authoritative way to understand what is life all about. So we discussed about what is Bhagavad Gita. Another thing that we discussed, and I urge you to go look at the video, we spent a lot of time on why is this Bhagavad Gita that we will be following called Bhagavad Gita as it is. What is the meaning of as it is? Very brief, as it is like a tagline or a punchline to say that this edition of Bhagavad Gita that we will follow is the translation, commentaries, and the understanding that is presented is as Krishna intended it to be. When you are reading a book, you want to read it as the author intended to write it. What's the point of reading a book in your own way, completely different from what the author wanted it to be? Krishna is the author of the Bhagavad Gita, and we want to understand it as Krishna imparted it to Arjun. We want to get it in that exact same spirit. So that is like a punchline or a tagline to say that the translations and interpretations given in this Bhagavad Gita, because many people have written translations and interpretations of Bhagavad Gita, and not all of them are equal. Many Bhagavad Gitas that I have read a lot of them. I would say I have read about 10 or 15 different commentaries, and many of them are kind of self-contradictory, and they have to go through great lengths to reconcile some of the arguments that are made there, because they find it difficult to interpret Lord Krishna's words in a consistent way, unless you interpret it in the way Lord Krishna wanted. So in any way, this edition of Bhagavad Gita that we will follow, which is by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, I would also popularly call it as the ISKCON edition. I understand Sanskrit as well. I have seen the verses of the Bhagavad Gita, the Sanskrit verses. And when I read the Sanskrit, when I read the interpretation, I find like it's completely reconcilable, completely consistent all throughout. So we discussed about why it is called as it is. We also discussed some logistics and housekeeping things, which we will talk about in a little bit. And we discussed about some aspects of how to navigate the Bhagavad Gita, why certain specific fonts are used, what are the meanings of those fonts. Bhagavad Gita is organized into 18 chapters and total of 700 verses divided among 18 chapters. We talked about all that. And we talked about a little bit about the person who has written the commentary, whose name again, his picture is at the back of the Bhagavad Gita, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. We talked a little bit about his life. We spent a lot of time talking about Guru Shishya Parampara, how we understand Bhagavad Gita in a particular parampara, in a Guru Shishya, Guru Shishya, Guru Shishya. It's called a parampara or a disciplic succession. When a true student learns from a true guru, and then when the guru finds that the student has become perfect in his understanding, then the guru appoints the student to become a guru. And that is how the chain continues. And this chain starts from Lord Krishna himself. So through a authentic succession, authentic disciplic succession, we are getting this knowledge through the parampara, which is called as a sampradaya. So we talked about a lot about that as well. So these are some of the things that we talked about. I will stop here and see if there are any questions. Okay, before we get into questions, I just wanted to point out a few things. So when you join these Q&A sessions or the main Bhagavad Gita sessions where we do the class and we'll go through the chapter and all that, couple of things that we would like you to do. One is to put your full name in the Zoom so that we can identify who you are. There are a lot of participants, and as usual, many people have common names like maybe Uma or Amit or John, very common names. So it will be helpful if we know your last name also, because there are multiple people with the same first name. So please put your full name if possible in the Zoom. You can easily do that by renaming yourself. There's a rename button right next to your name, and please we request you to do that. The second thing is that we have a WhatsApp group through which we will keep sending the class reminders and other important announcements about the class. So we request you to join that. I'm going to post the link of that here in the chat, and you can click on that and join the WhatsApp group. It's almost getting full. So if it gets full, we will create another copy of it. Another thing that we would request you to join is the Telegram group. So by the way, I have posted the link to join the WhatsApp group in the chat, and you can click on that link and it will make you join the group. The Telegram channel is the other thing. I just posted the link for that as well. This is for all the people who are interested in the various classes, etc. that we do. This Bhagavad Gita class that we are doing is the most introductory level class that we offer. All the classes we offer are free of cost. We are just doing this as our seva to Lord Krishna and to our Guru, Srila Prabhupada, or A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, like I told you, the one who has written the commentaries and translations. He is no more. He passed away about 50 years ago, but about 45 years ago, to be precise. But we still serve our Guru by spreading the message, which he took so much pains to spread across the world. So we do many programs. Bhagavad Gita is the introductory program. There is also a Bhagavatam study group that we do. We do an advanced level of Bhagavad Gita study called Bhakti Shastri. Many things we are offering. There is a website called gitapdx.com that we just created. And now I have posted the link to that, where all our programs and everything that we offer are mentioned. So if you join this Telegram channel, we will post general announcements about all the offerings that we offer throughout the year. So you can join all these things and take advantage of all the resources. So I will stop there. I will see if you have any questions. Just to summarize, Bhagavad Gita classes will occur on Friday evenings, US time, and this additional question answer session will occur on Saturday mornings, US time. And you are welcome to come to both of them. Or if you cannot make it to the main session and just the Q&A session, we request you to watch the videos, come up with your questions, and then ask those questions to us. Yeah, one last thing I want to mention on this, how to ask questions. So you can raise your hand using the feature raise hand, and don't just raise your hand in the video, because I may not see it, because I don't see all the videos on my screen. You can use the icon to raise your hand and I will call on you. or when I ask for questions, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. It's better to just raise your hand and be called upon, or you can put your question in the chat as well. Another way to ask a question beforehand would be to go to this website, geetapdx.com. And there is a contact us link there, and you can just put your question over there. Let me show you just very quickly the Geeta PDX website. So if we go to Geeta PDX, are you seeing the screen, by the way? This is geetapdx.com, and you can see here Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhakti Shastri, and other things. You click on this contact us link. And if you click on the contact us, you can just ask a question. You need to put your email address, your name. If you want, this one is not mandatory, your phone or WhatsApp, and then your question, whatever your question is. And then you can say, if your question is related to a class you attended, please mention which class you are, it's related to. You can mention whatever, class it is. So this is a general form that we have created for you to ask offline questions, and we will answer it in the forum in which you attend. So that's why the last question tells us where you heard this or where the question arose from, and we will answer it in that forum. So, okay, let's see if there are any questions at this point about the main class, about Bhagavad Gita itself, about this one. Okay, so I have a question from Sama Sai Prabhu or Mataji, I don't know. Our Guru has taught us, Srila Prabhupada has taught us to call men as Prabhu and women as Mataji, because we consider all people as our superiors or seniors, whether they are young or old. So that's why men are called Prabhu and women are called Mataji. We look at everyone as our Prabhu or Mata, mother. So if you would like to unmute and ask your question, that will be nice. Sama Sai Prabhu or Mataji, I can't figure out if it's some Prabhu or Mataji. Is the person here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So I wanted to know, like, how should I surrender completely to Krishna while understanding Gita?
Okay, great question. We will cover this in detail as we go through the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so it's a little, I would say, have you gone through Bhagavad Gita already?
Yes, Prabhuji, like I've started reading the introduction part.
Okay, so the most important verse of Bhagavad Gita is 18.66. So I expect that all of you have Bhagavad Gita with you while we are doing the class or in the question answer session. Okay. So, okay, I see someone else raising their hand. Satish Chandra Prabhu. Yeah, no need to keep your hand up. I'll call on you. It might hurt if you keep your hand up for too long. So thank you. So open chapter 18, verse number 66. Now I'm going into the most sort of the deep inside the Bhagavad Gita, into the final conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. I won't go into too much detail on this verse, but this is the most important verse of the entire Bhagavad Gita. And it says, Lord Krishna is telling Arjun, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. So he's saying, Mam Ekam Sharanam. I'll just focus on that part. Come to my Sharan. Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Come to my Sharan. So this surrender or Sharan that you are asking, Sharan and surrender are the same, taking Sharan or coming to the surrender. There is in the commentary or the purport written by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, whom we also lovingly call, or very in a nice way, we call him Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada means follower of Prabhu. Prabhu is the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada, he has quoted a verse in the commentary. If you see Hari Bhakti Vilas, there is a italics in the commentary, a italics verse. Do you see that?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, can you try to read the first line of that? Just the first two words. I just want to make sure you got the right one.
Oh, Prabhuji, here the net is quite slow, so the PDF is loading.
Okay. So it says, Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishwaso gopritve varnam tatha atmanikshepa karpanye shadvidha sharanagatihi. That's what it says. So we will go into the meaning of this in the subsequent classes. It doesn't make sense for me to go into it right now. But I want to focus on the last words of this verse, which says, Shadvidha sharanagatihi. Shadvidha means 6 vidhis, 6 ways of sharan, how to take sharan. The process of taking sharan or surrender is called sharanagati. Sharana gati, going towards sharan or taking sharan. These are the 6 ways given in this verse of how to take surrender of Krishna or of the Lord. And the first one, which is what I was asking you to read, was Anukulyasya Sankalpaha. So just if you follow the first principle, that can be the starting point of surrender, which is Anukulyasya Sankalpaha. Anukulyasya means doing things that are favorable, taking a sankalpa, taking a vow, or making a determination to do things which are favorable to Krishna. That is surrender. Like a small child is surrendered to his parents. Of course, when children go bigger, they become little independent and don't listen to their parents. But small children are very surrendered. What is the one thing that they do? They always obey their parents. They see, because they know that maybe if I don't do that, I will get into trouble. Not from my parents, but just due to the nature of things. If Papa says, don't go alone in the park at night or when it is dark, children become afraid. Oh, I should not go alone there. Maybe there is an animal there or there is some bad person there. So they will never disobey their parents. They want to obey their parents. They want to do things which their parents want them to do because they know if they do that, they will be safe and sound and happy. That is the first principle, is to do things favorable to Krishna. And then there are 5 more, which we will discuss as we go along. So the first thing would be to do things that are favorable to Krishna. Now, the next question could be, how do I know what are the favorable things to Krishna? We will cover those as well in detail in Bhagavad Gita. In 7th chapter, 8th chapter, 9th chapter, Lord Krishna describes a lot of things. Even in the 2nd chapter, right in the 2nd chapter, he begins to describe. So we will go through that. Hopefully that answers a little bit. I cannot answer. That's a very broad question. A large part of Bhagavad Gita is dedicated to answering that question itself. So, I hope this small answer helped.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay. Okay, other questions? Yes, you had raised your hand, Satish Chandra Prabhu.
Yes, sir. First of all, sir, let me take an opportunity to congratulate you for this wonderful job you are doing. Selflessly, you are living Gita in practical. Sir, I don't have Gita as such. I have got Holy Gita, the commentary which Chinmaya, this will do, or this has got different commentary?
Yeah, this will have very different commentary. The Sanskrit shlokas are the same. Okay, there is no difference in the Sanskrit shlokas, but there are so many. Yeah, I can see that. Thank you. However, the translations and the interpretations are going to be different at some of the most important places. Some of the places where key points are being highlighted, the interpretations are going to be slightly different. And those slight differences make large differences in our application. So I would not recommend for the session, for the purpose of these series, this is the only edition of Bhagavad Gita I want everybody to use. You are welcome to use obviously whatever you would like, but we will be following this edition and we will be basing all our discussions on this edition. So a lot of people have written a lot of books or a lot of commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, how to become rich using Bhagavad Gita. Believe it or not, I have seen a commentary, how to become rich using principles of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is actually talking a lot about detachment from all the material wealth and, you know, how to become detached. And this person wrote a commentary on how to, you know, he gave this whole twist about, oh, how you can become rich, but not become attached to money and this and that, some twisted way. It's like, you know, I didn't read it fully. I got bored after reading a few pages, but so my point is people can write anything they want the brand name Bhagavad Gita, so it will sell. And then inside they write whatever they want. And that is not good. I'm not saying Chinmaya Mission or Swami Chinmayanand's Bhagavad Gita is so divergent, but we will just follow this Bhagavad Gita. I do not want to undergo a deep exercise into interpreting someone else's and trying to reconcile and all that. We will just follow one. It's like, so yesterday in the class, somebody was asking, and I was giving this answer. I won't share into what the question was. If you have a disease and you go to one doctor, let's say cancer, he says you need chemotherapy. You go to someone else, he says you need surgery. You go to another doctor, he says you need radiation. Now, which one will you follow?
Yes.
You cannot do all three. So you have to select one and just go with his treatment. Okay. Bhagavad Gita is also, the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is also to cure a disease. We are all diseased because we are attached to Maya. And we have forgotten Krishna or Bhagwan. That forgetfulness of Bhagwan caused by our extreme attachment to all the material things is a disease. So we have to go to one doctor. And that one doctor is, of course, Krishna. But when we have doubts, when we have questions, who resolves them? We are not that pure that we can talk to Krishna. Arjun had that opportunity to talk to Lord Krishna directly, face to face, and ask him the questions because he was a great devotee of Krishna. We are not such great devotees. So then we have to look to acharyas. Acharyas are the bona fide representatives of Krishna. Just like there is president and then there are ambassadors of the president in every country. So the people of that country, or let's say the president of the other country, cannot directly approach, let's say, President Biden, Joe Biden of United States. Whenever he wants, he says, I have a doubt. Can I talk to you, President Biden? You cannot. But yes, you can talk to your ambassador, the US ambassador of your country. He is the official representative of the president in your country. Like that, acharyas of Lord Krishna are the ambassadors which Krishna has sent for us to answer questions. The foremost acharya that I have personal tremendous respect for, again, I will keep pointing to him again and again, is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And based on his teachings, I, for the purposes of this course, will try my best to answer your questions, and I will base all my answers based on his writings. So I request you, at least for the purposes of this course, to treat this Bhagavad Gita as our guiding post. Not go to Dr. A, Dr. B, Dr. C, Dr. D. That will only leave you completely confused. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll have it by within 2-3 days. I'll get it.
Yeah, please get it. Otherwise, this whole thing is also available online on the website I showed you, vedabase.io.
I'll get it online. I'll get it
online, or you can get a paper copy. I am a fan of paper copy. I like offline things. Online, when I'm reading, then something else will pop up and my mind will get distracted.
Right, sir. Right.
Yes. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, sir.
And this book is available on Amazon. And if you are in the United States, or in Amazon is there in India or other countries, you can find it. Or if you are living in Portland, Oregon, which is where we live in the United States, you can come pick it up from our house. The price of the hardbound edition is $10. So you are welcome to pick it up. Yeah, you can post the link. Yeah, so we will post the link on Amazon.com, which is the US version of Amazon, how to get it. Okay, other questions? Dimple.
Yeah, hi. Namaste. First of all, thanks for doing this. Definitely, I'm very excited. So others might be too. And the whole purpose, looking at the life in a different way. So thank you very much for taking this initiative. About the book, I just have a question. I do have that book because I was just reading before also a little bit, and I have the paper cover. But the fonts are very small. So is the hardcover better, or is it like, sometimes at night, it's really hard to read, especially I just have the paper cover. So is the hardcover better for the font, or any other way I can get a bigger
Where do you
font book?
live? Where do you...
Minneapolis,
Oh,
Minnesota.
so United States, US.
Yes.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, it's little bit bigger, little bit, but not very much.
Okay.
And the publisher, which is ISKCON official publisher called Bhaktivedanta Book Trust,
Yep.
publishes this hardbound edition and a paperback edition, but they keep changing sort of the overall size and the fonts and all. This is the copy I'm showing you, but this is not the one I read. This one I'm showing you only because this is what is the current. It has been going on for a few years in this kind of orange cover and all. When I purchased Bhagavad Gita about 25 years back, it used to come in blue cover. The internal contents are exactly the same, 100%. But as you can see, this one is little bigger than this one.
Got it. Okay.
So this one is even bigger font than this one, but they don't publish this anymore.
All
So they
right.
made the size little smaller, and also the font became smaller.
Got it. Okay.
So I'm not sure how you can get a big size. You might have to search on Amazon. They might, it's tricky. I think if font is an issue, you might just be better off reading on your, do you have a Kindle device?
Yeah, and to be frank, just to, again, I am a paper book fan, but just to read certain kind of books, I got myself a tablet, and I think I purchased the Kindle copy. But again, the paper copy is always better, especially to read at night. So
Yeah.
I think I purchased the same book. I have to double check, but I have the soft copy too.
You will have to figure out one or the other way. These are just practical limitations.
Yeah, maybe then, if the hardcover is a little bit bigger, I can give it a try. Like I just have the paperback,
Try the hardcover. It has little bit bigger font than paperback.
Got it. Okay.
Not a whole lot.
Yep. No, thank you very much. Yep.
Kindle or something will be best because you can increase the font as much as you want.
Right. Yep. No, makes sense. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
And especially after this book only, I got the device. For definitely kids have it, but for myself, but I have to get used to.
Yeah.
And you like, definitely I have the English version, but if someone in India wants to read, we are Gujaratis, so if some of my family member, do you have the same version and as is, in Gujarati too, or no?
Yes, BBT publishes in many languages.
Oh, okay.
All the South Indian languages, Kannada, Telugu, Malayalam, Tamil, and then Gujarati, Marathi, Bengali. All those languages are published. Hindi, of course. I think
and the
I can see
content would be same, right?
The Hindi copy there.
It won't be altered, right? The content won't be altered, right?
No. These are all official translations, BBT translations of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami's commentaries and translations. So they are all, but they are available only in paper copy. I don't know if they are available in soft format online.
Got it. Okay, no, sounds
You
good.
have
Thank
to
you
try
very much.
out.
Yeah, no, definitely we will. Thanks a lot.
Other questions?
Prabhuji, if I may add, you in Amazon, if you type Bhagavad Gita as it is first edition, there are a few sellers that pop up, Prabhuji, like used book sellers. So that might be an additional
Of
resource.
larger font? You
Um,
mean?
it might, because you said first book has a little bit larger font, right? The first edition.
No, what I am showing is also the second edition, but it's a different reprint in larger
Okay.
font. That's all.
Sure.
So we would prefer you to get the second edition, but first edition is also fine.
Okay.
So only some spelling mistakes or some typos and other kind of errata have been corrected. So either one is fine. And in the past, they have all been published in bigger font, smaller font, and in all shapes and sizes. So just try and get the best that works. But it should be the one by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, that's the publisher, BBT. And A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami's name should be there on it. And it should say Bhagavad Gita as it is. These are the things that will help you identify that you have the right one, because there are just so many Bhagavad Gitas. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. So you can look for used copies or something on Amazon. Some people might be selling larger font copies. Okay, any other questions? Yes, I think somebody had raised their hand. Sai Vivek Prabhu.
Yes. Yes. This is Vivek Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Yes, Prabhuji, I always had this question. You mentioned about the Guru Shishya Parampara being the authentic um, method to disseminate knowledge from times immemorial.
Authentic Guru Shishya Parampara. There can be bogus gurus and bogus Shishya also.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So authentic Guru Shishya Paramparas, like you mentioned in the beginning of yesterday's class, the Madhva Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, all these Sampradayas, what are usually their differing points and why are there huge different schools of thought there?
Yeah, so there are some differences that we will may or may not go to in the Bhagavad Gita discussion, because Bhagavad Gita is the fundamental text. There are some differences between them. For example, in one of the differences in what mood to approach God. That is one of the differences. There are various rasas or mood in which you can approach God. In the Bhagavad Gita itself, you will see Srila Prabhupada has mentioned 5 different rasas: Shanta rasa, Dasya rasa, Sakhya rasa, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. What they mean? Shanta means in a neutral way. Everybody is connected to Krishna in the lowest neutral way. Even the plants, dogs, and cats are connected to Krishna because they are part and parcel. Everybody is a part of Krishna. So because they are spiritual beings, they have the Atma or the soul in them. So in that sense, they are connected to Krishna in the Shanta Ras. Then there are 4 primary rasas of actual interaction, not neutral, not Shanta, not like a dormant, which is Dasya as a servant, Sakhya as a friend like Arjun, Dasya as a servant like Hanumanji. Hanumanji never considered Lord Ram as a friend, did he? He was always a servant. Sakhya means like a friend, like Sudama. Brahman, you must have heard the story of Sudama, how he went to Lord Krishna as a friend. Or even Arjun is a friend of Krishna. Then Vatsalya means as a parent, like Mother Devaki or Vasudev, or Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya, or Dashrath and Kaushalya. All are in the parental mood. And then in the Madhurya means as a lover or as a husband-wife relationship, like Mother Lakshmi or Radharani and Lord Krishna, or Rukmini and Krishna, and so many other, Mother Sita. So they are all in the Madhurya Rasa. So in various sampradayas, they say you should worship or you should approach, and there are other secondary rasas. I'm just pointing out one specific difference. The acharyas recommend you should approach God as a dasya. Within dasya, also there could be Aishwarya Bhava, for example. So there are these various, so other sampradayas also consider those things as correct, as valid. There is no invalidity there, though you're doing something wrong, but we follow this because there are many options, many choices that are given. Various sampradayas follow various choices. Just as an example, I will give, just as a very broad, it's a crude example, okay? Let's say universities, Harvard University, Princeton University, Stanford University, right? They are all called university, means Vishwavidyalaya. That's the Sanskrit word. It is the temple of education, okay? So it does, but it does not mean that if you go to any temple of education, you will get the knowledge you want. You have to choose what knowledge you want to learn. So if you want to learn, let's say, computer science, you may go to Stanford University, which has the best computer science program. Some university may not even teach computer science. I don't know. I can't give an example. But if you want to learn, let's say, something else, some other university specializes in that. So, but they are all valid. They are all providing the full education, but their specializations may be different. Okay. So there are various differences between the sampradayas, but as long as they are bona fide sampradayas, and there are 4 top level sampradayas that are bona fide, which I discussed yesterday, Brahma Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Kumar Sampradaya. That means Lord Narayana or Lord Krishna imparted the knowledge first to these 4 people. Mother Lakshmi, and that forms the Shri Sampradaya. Lord Brahma, which forms the Brahma Sampradaya. Lord Shiva, which is Rudra Sampradaya, and the 4 Kumaras, the 4 young boys, that becomes the Kumar Sampradaya. And then they imparted it to the next level, and then it branches out into many, many further subgroups. So anyway, we don't want to get into all those details right now. Again, like I said, instead of trying to understand the whole thing, this course, we want to focus on application. I request you to dedicate your life for the next 6 months to understanding and applying the version of Bhagavad Gita and teachings as we will be discussing based on this edition of Bhagavad Gita, and see how it transforms or impacts your life.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Manish Garg, Prabhu, yes, you have a question.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sir, I posted my question in the chat, but I have one additional question before that.
Go ahead.
Sir, you mentioned, and I also read in the book that the Radharani and Lord Krishna's relationship was of a lover. But I have read during my childhood that Lord Krishna, when he was in hometown, he was about 8-10 years old. And at that age, children are not sensible about the gender. So if you can correct my understanding from my childhood, I'll appreciate that. And then we can move to this question, which I have posted in the chat.
Okay. So first of all, we must first, have you read Bhagavad Gita fully at your by yourself?
No, sir, I have just started. So in the beginning itself, it was showing.
I want to understand your where you are in your spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Okay. So that gives me some understanding. See, these are the relationship between, first of all, Krishna is God. He's not a human being. Now, this is another problem with many other interpretations of Bhagavad Gita. They will say Krishna was a Sant Mahatma. He was a saint. Some will say he was a great person, a great human being. He is God. He is not a human being. He is not a Sant Mahatma. He's not like Sant, Mahatma Gandhi, or they were all human beings. Mahatma Gandhi was he was a great human being. That's why he's called Mahatma, but he was a human being. But Krishna is Bhagwan. Everywhere in Bhagavad Gita, wherever Krishna speaks, it starts with Shri Bhagavan Vacha. So Krishna is Bhagwan, and the age and gender, 8-year, 10-year, is all a human or a material level designation. It does not apply to Bhagwan, first of all. And Srimati Radha is the Shakti of Bhagwan. So whatever the kind of the question you posed has that fundamental thing that we are trying to apply our material frame of reference on God. And there itself, there is a big problem or a big flaw. Okay. The second point I want to mention is that these are very, very deep topics, and there are perfect answers to these topics, but we cannot understand them unless we have gone through the basics first. I'm assuming you are a student of mathematics, perhaps, and you understand what is integration, like the big S, like. So if a small child who is in kindergarten comes and he opens a calculus book and asks his father, Daddy, I saw this book on your table. It has all these kind of symbols and it says it's a book of mathematics. I am doing 2 + 2 = 4. Can you please explain me what is this symbol called like this, which basically is integration symbol? What will the father say? Father will say, my dear child, you need to go through arithmetic, then algebra, then trigonometry, and then calculus. I cannot explain you what this symbol is and how to do all these things without understanding the basics of mathematics. So thank you. I saw in the chat you are a mechanical engineer from University of Roorkee, 95. Very nice. You are 1 year senior to me. But in spirituality, the same thing holds true. So I hope you can appreciate what I am saying. We must first go through the full understanding of Bhagavad Gita at a minimum before we can understand these very deep topics of relationship between God and his Shakti. Okay, let us first understand the relationship between us and God. And then we are able to understand the relationship between God and his own Shakti. Is that okay?
Yes.
So my request will be to very sincerely, if you want the answer to that question that you just asked, and if you sincerely want to know, there are two types of people who want to know, just like, oh, as if it is some movie. And in a lot of these TV serials, movies are the worst place to understand spiritual matters because they just try to portray it because their aim is to get money. And they will show some obscenity and some very disgusting things about such a elevated, such a deeply spiritual topic as the relationship between Krishna and Radha. So if that is that is the last place where one should get their spiritual understanding, or so my humble request is go through the process of gaining a deeper understanding into spiritual matters. And as your understanding deepens, your deeper questions, you will become more and more able to understand the answers to the deeper questions. Okay, so please go in sequence. Fair?
Most of my understanding has been from Gita Press books, which I read in my childhood. So, and I don't watch all these Hindi serials. I find it very ugly.
Yes.
They are forward.
Yes. So please go through the Bhagavad Gita course that we will discuss, and then we can see how much progress is made, and we can discuss those deeper topics.
Just a
This
point.
question that I posted in chat, we'll discuss it later, or is it too early to ask this question?
How do you see the principle of predeterminism? You mean fate?
Fate is a spiritual kind of
Destiny.
predeterminism on the scientific side. So it's like reducing the randomness. Like weather was supposed to be random 200 years back, 200 years back, was supposed to be an act of God, but because of
Understood.
supercomputers,
So is everything predetermined? And what does Bhagavad Gita say about predeterminism and quantum computing? And quantum computing, or not quantum computing per se, but general quantum mechanics, also has a lot of randomness, but that randomness at a statistical level, when seen, is highly predictable. So yes, we now is probably, you know, this itself could be, your question is too broad, and at a nutshell level, it will take to answer it very deeply. I'm very interested in these topics. In fact, I have done some series on science and spirituality with teenage children, in high school children, kind of, who are learning science and all. And I plan to do a similar series with adults sometime in the future. But at a brief level, I will say that every molecule, every atom in the whole universe is controlled by God. Not controlled by, like, as in like a controller, like a micromanager, not in that way, but is in the control of God. It may be something which is very unimaginable to understand. Today's meteor, you gave the example of weather prediction. There are supercomputers that are deployed to predict weather, and they only can predict very general weather patterns. Okay, there'll be rain, or there'll be heat, or this or that. But they do not have enough computing power to predict where every molecule on this planet Earth will be. They cannot predict that. That is just way too complex to handle. There is just too much information there to handle. At a statistical level, at a large, you consider the whole weather as one body and you can predict, but you cannot predict every atom where it will be. That's just out of the question. But God has that capacity. Now, this may be something mind-boggling to understand. Wait a minute, what are we talking about here? I will leave it at that point and discuss more next time. So we are at 11:08 right now. There's just one more thing that I want to bring up. Cannot find on Gita PDX website the online version of the book by Asha Vishwanathan. So the online version of the book is not on Gita PDX. Gita PDX is our website where we post all the programs that we are doing. Actually, it's a good idea. On our website, we will post a link to the online book. The online book is on the BBT website, that vedabase.io, which I mentioned, is the official website of the publisher. So that is where you will get the online version of the book. Did I not post the link of that yet? So let me post the link. I'm sorry. I should have posted the link there. I'm going to post it to everyone. HTTPS vedabase.io. Okay, there you go. I have posted the link where you can get all the books, or Bhagavad Gita, at least the online version. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Any last minute questions? Because time is up and we need to wrap up. Dimple Mataji, you had a follow-up question or anything? I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, but it's just a discussion point. So maybe, we can take it up next time. Yeah, just
Sounds
on the
good.
basis of what we talked before. But we'll take up next time because it might take time.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So next week, again, same time we'll meet. In the meantime, please review the video we will post of even the next class, which will happen next Friday evening, US time. We will be covering chapter 1. and plus the orientation video, which has already been posted of yesterday's class. If you have not watched it, have a look at it. And the next week video also we will post, but that we will post only the previous day. So if you get a chance, please watch it, and we will have question answer session again at the same time next time. Any other announcements? No. Okay. So thank you so much for joining in this question answer session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.